Think about the structural exoskeleton of a center point door in Paris or a tube pavilion. Rings of steel on a curved spine, perfectly spaced, perfectly perpendicular. All of those structures share one fundamental parametric operation, a spine curve, with geometry placed at regular intervals along it. In Grasshopper, that operation is called divide curve, and it is one of the most powerful things you will learn in this entire course. I am Ajit Kumar, this is day 6. Let's build it from scratch. Up to now, all the geometry in our Grasshopper definition has been created directly inside Grasshopper. Points from sliders, lines from points, circles from planes. Today, we are doing something different. We draw a curve by hand in Rhino, a freeform shape that would be difficult to describe with just numbers, and then we reference it into Grasshopper. We bring the hand-drawn curve into the parametric system. This is very important workflow. In real architectural practice, designers often sketch curves manually and then use Grasshopper to populate geometry along those curves automatically. That is exactly what we are doing today. First, let's draw our curve. Open Rhino. Click in the command bar at the top. Type InterpCrv, press enter. InterpCrv stands for interpolated curve. It draws a smooth nerves curve through a series of points that you click. Click several points across the viewport to create a gentle wave or arc shape. Do not worry about precision, we want a freeform feel. When you're happy with the shape, press enter to complete the curve. You have a freeform curve in Rhino. Now we bring it into Grasshopper. In Grasshopper, go to the Params tab at the very top of the tab menu. Find the geometry panel, look for a component simply called curve. Click it to place it on the canvas. This small component is what we called a portal. It brings any Rhino curve into Grasshopper. By itself, it contains nothing. It is waiting for us to point it at a curve. To assign a curve to it, right-click the curve parameter component on the canvas, select Set One Curve from the menu. Now, click on the curve you drew in Rhino. Press enter. Look at the curve parameter on the canvas. It has changed color from orange to gray. Orange and Grasshopper means a component has no data, it is empty. Gray means data is present and flowing. Your curve is now inside Grasshopper. Now place the divide curve component. Double-click canvas, type divide curve, place it to the right of the curve parameter. Connect the curve parameter output to the C input of divide curve. Now let's zoom in on the divide curve so you can see exactly what it gives us. It has one geometry input, C for curve, and one number input, N for the count of divisions. It has 3 outputs and only 3, no more, no fewer. P is the division points. T is the tangent vector, the direction the curve is traveling at each of those points. And lowercase t is the curve parameter, a number between 0 to 1 describing how far along the curve that point sits. 0 is the start, 1 is the end. Place a number slider for the divisions. Set it to integer type, range 2 to 50, default 10. Label it divisions. Connect it to the n input. Look at Rhino. 10 equal spaced points along your curve. Drag the division slider up, 30 division points. Drag it down to 4 points. The divide curve components is recalculating the equal space automatically every time the slider changes. Now let's put circle at those division points. The first instinct is to connect the P output from divide curve through an XY plane and into a circle component. Let's try that. Look at Rhino. Circles appear. But they're all lying flat, all horizontal. For a rib structure, we want the circles to be perpendicular to the curve to stand like a ring along the tube. This is why XY plane is not we want here. XY plane always points straight up. It completely ignores the direction of the curve. We need something that reads the tangent. The component we need is called plane normal. You find it on the vector tab in the plane panel. It builds a plane that is perpendicular to whatever vector you feed it, which is exactly what a tangent vector is. Plane normal has two inputs, O, the origin point where the plane sits, and Z, a vector. Whatever vector you plug into Z becomes the plane's normal direction, meaning the plane will stand perpendicular to it. We connect the divide curve P output to the O input. These are our division points. Now we connect the T output from divide curve, the tangent vectors, to the Z input of plane normal. The tangent vector at each division points is the direction the curve is traveling at the exact location. By telling plane normal at this vector is Z, we are telling it stand perpendicular to the curve at this point, like a slice cut straight across the tube. Now connect the plane normal output to the circle P input. Look at Rhino. Now the circles are perpendicular to the curve at every point. They stand like rings on a tube. This is a rib structure. Drag the division slider, more ribs, fewer ribs, each one perfectly oriented to its local curve direction. Drag the radius slider, bigger rings, smaller rings, all from two sliders. If you now change the curve shape in Rhino, move a control point, the rings will update to follow the new curve automatically. The Grasshopper definition is live. One more thing worth knowing. There is one more component called prep frames that do the same perpendicular plane math built directly into one step. We are learning the longer divide curve plus plane normal route on purpose because having the points, tangents and parameters as separate wires is exactly what we need tomorrow when we build the pavilion. Today's exercise is a variation on what we just built. Instead of a freeform curve, we use circular arc, and instead of circles, we place spheres. In Rhino, type arc in a command bar, press enter. Click 3 points to define a gentle arc. I suggest a quarter circle or a half circle shape. Reference the arc in Grasshopper with a curve parameter. Right click, set one curve, click the arc. Connect the curve parameter to divide curve. Set divisions to 12. We will get 12 evenly spaced points along the arc. Now, instead of circle, we want a sphere. Place a sphere component. Double click canvas, type sphere, place it. Connect the P output of divide curve directly to the base input of the sphere component. Place a radius slider and connect it to the sphere's radius input. Look at Rhino. 12 spheres arranged in a ring along the arc, like a hour markers on a clock face or a structural nodes on a curved beam. Notice we did not need plain normal component here at all. Sphere only needs a center point, not an orientation, because a sphere looks the same from every angle. That is day 6. You can now draw freeform curves in Rhino, bring them into Grasshopper with a curve parameter, divide them into equal segment with divide curve, and place geometry at every division point, correctly oriented using prep frames. Tomorrow, day 7, is phase 1 project day. No new components. We put everything from day 1 through 6 together into a single complete architectural project, a arc pavilion. 4 sliders, infinite variation. This is your first real computational design project. Subscribe to catch day 7. See you tomorrow.